Welcome back to Wesno's Tech News and Reviews. Today I've got quite a special head-to-head comparison and test, and this is the test between the Amazfit GTS 2e as well as the Amazfit GTS 2 Mini. So both of these smartwatches are the latest additions to the smartwatch range of Amazfit. I'll be doing a comprehensive test between their resting heart rate, their sleep tracking, as well as their heart rate tracking while on a run. So I've actually been to the forest and I've run a couple of kilometers with both of these smartwatches on my wrists. Now the benchmark there will be the Polar H10 ECG chest strap, one of the most accurate heart rate chest straps in the world. I'll be completely frank, and some of the results did surprise me majorly, and you will find out about these as we get through the head-to-head. Let's get into it. If you are new to Wesno's Tech News and Reviews, we talk about the latest tech news. We do brutally honest reviews and share hacks and tricks along the way. Now let's do a quick recap of what these two smartwatches actually bring for us. So the GTS 2e has a massive 1.65 Super Retina AMOLED display, while the GTS 2 Mini has a 1.55 inch AMOLED display. So the resolution on the Mini is actually smaller as well, with 301 ppi versus 341 ppi, I believe. Now we can see that both watches have great specs, like they do look amazing. They're bright, they're crisp. In regards to CPU power, the GTS 2e is slightly more powerful. Now I'm not saying you're going to see much lag on the GTS 2 Mini, but when you do run through the screens and you go through all the apps, the GTS 2e does run smoother and just slightly more premium. But then the price does explain it as well. So if you can pick up the GTS 2 Mini for £80 or $100, the Amazfit GTS 2e will set you back $150 or £120. In regards to sport profiles, the GTS 2 Mini has 70, the GTS 2e has 90. Both of them are waterproof, both of them have aluminium frames, and they both have dual GPS. In regards to the cool and advanced features, so with the GTS 2 Mini, it will be getting Alexa via an OTA update, that is over the air. Now, with the GTS 2e, it's also going to be getting Alexa in the future, but currently it has voice commands and voice controls. Why do you need those? So let's say you're going out for a run, you've got your gloves on because it's freezing outside, so you just bring up your wrist to your face and you say, open workout, open music, and so forth. So voice commands are quite useful, and it does give you the hands-free experience. The way I've structured this comparison and test is, firstly, we're going to go into the heart rate test of the run that I did in the forest. Then we're going to talk about the resting heart rate over the night, and then we're going to get into the sleep test and analysis. First up, we've got the plot of the GTS 2 Mini heart rate versus the Polar H10 chest strap heart rate. And we can see that the 2 Mini traces the heart rate almost exactly like the Polar H10. Yes, at the start we do see that one of the peaks was overestimated while one of the troughs was underestimated. But in general we can see that the heart rates actually follow through quite well. If we look at the average heart rate, so the Polar H10 registered 143 beats per minute, the GTS 2 Mini is on par with exactly the same number of beats, 143, so there's zero variance. Fantastic. Now on the max heart rate, the Polar H10 has registered 160 beats per minute, while the 2 Mini gives us 159, so the variance is just 1 beat per minute or 0.6%. In general, that's amazing. So an optical heart rate sensor is known to be less accurate than a chest strap. But here what we see is that the optical heart rate sensor on the GTS 2 Mini is extremely accurate. And now if we take a look at the plot of the GTS 2e versus the Polar H10 chest strap, and straight away we see problem areas, and they are quite massive. So the fact of the matter is, most of the peaks as registered by the Polar H10 are being flatlined and underestimated by the GTS 2e, and that is actually happening across the board, so across the 25 or so minutes of the run, and hence the average heart rate is actually 125 beats per minute on the GTS 2e versus the Polar's heart rate of 143 beats per minute. The variance is 18 beats per minute on average. That's a variance of 12.6%. That is big. Now, if we look at the max heart rate, Polar H10 registered 160 beats per minute. The GTS2E registered 155. Once again, the peak was underestimated by 5 beats per minute, or 3.1%. I think we've definitely identified a problem with the heart rate sensor on the GTS2E. And considering that we're not the first ones to do it, if we have a look at the comments under the GTS2E review, we can see that a number of people have registered that the heart rates measured by the smartwatch is lower than they would have expected. So I will be writing an email to Amazfit support highlighting this issue, and hopefully it will be fixed in one of the follow-up updates. The two smartwatches did give me a resting heart rate of 64 and 65 beats per minute over the night. So I think that's in line with what I was expecting, so there's really not much to talk about here. But if we look at the sleep comparison, if we look at the sleep screens that I'm going to show you right now, you're going to see there is an issue. Another issue with the GTS2E, unfortunately. So in front of you now there are two screens from the Zepp app. One is from the GTS2E sleep screen and one is from the GTS2 mini sleep screens. And we can see that the GTS2E once again has an issue with sleep tracking. Basically, the sleep stages are muddled all the way through the night, while on the GTS2 mini we can see that the sleep stages are grouped and as expected. Now, in regards to as expected, you see, sleep is very well researched across the globe. And the fact is, we know from all the previous scientific research that sleep stages are usually grouped in cycles. And as a person falls asleep, usually the first sleep cycle is quite short and on average between 70 and 100 minutes long. Then, as you progress through the night, usually the sleep stages do sort of increase in length. What we see with the GTS2E is complete nonsense, because all the sleep stages are being muddled all together. It's showing you that the sensor does not pick up your breathing nor your motion detection correctly. With the GTS2 mini, the sleep cycles or the sleep stages look more logical. As soon as we fell asleep, we're entering deep sleep, then later in the night we're hitting REM sleep, and the cycle lengths actually look natural and what we are expecting. Now, the good thing that I can mention about the GTS2E is that it does register you falling asleep and wake up times correctly, because I did set my alarm to 10:30 a.m. and we can see that both watches actually picked it up as 10:29. Now, I fell asleep quite late at about 2:30 a.m. and we can see that both watches registered that as well. So, let's summarize our finding from this comprehensive test and comparison. Let's talk about the heart rate first. So, with the heart rate, we can see that the GTS2 mini is very accurate. And if you look at the previous comparisons that we've done with the GTS2 mini, it's been showing that proven record of very high accuracy on its heart rate monitor across the tests. Now, with the GTS2E, I'm quite shocked, because it's not even that it's slightly off, but having a variance of 12.6% from the average, that's absolutely massive. Usually what we see on the optical heart rate monitors for smartwatches is that they sort of underestimate your peaks and overestimate your troughs, but at the end of it, you would still have a very close average heart rate to the Polar H10 chest strap. That's not what we see with the GTS2E. It's just underestimating completely and utterly the peaks. The troughs, well, they're sort of followed through, but the peaks are completely and utterly wrong. And that gives us this huge break, or the huge variance from the average heart rate. In regards to the resting heart rate, no issues there. 64 and 65 beats per minute, that's very close to what I am expecting from my overnight trends. Now, if we talk about sleep, this again highlights a problem with the GTS2E. We can see that all the sleep stages, well, the three sleep stages, your light, deep and REM sleep, are actually muddled and mixed up during the night. This is an issue. With the GTS2 mini, no problems, no questions, because we are seeing what we really expect to see. Another positive is that if there is an issue, it will get fixed via the future OTA update, because Amazfit are usually very good with that. Thanks for watching the review. If you like the content, drop us a like, and if you want to see more of the same, then please subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.